I was a very troubled teen, and I did things that I look back now and I laugh at, and I have compassion for and a deep understanding for. But there was a time in my life when I would look back at those behaviors that I did, and I would have so much guilt and so much shame and just contempt for younger me and the decisions that I was making. And there are things that I've learned over the years about our God-designed brain and nervous system that have really helped me not only peel back layers of patterns that I had developed in childhood and carried into adulthood, but also have so much more compassion and forgiveness for myself. And as a result, it has helped me become so much more free in my life. And I wanted to share a few things because I feel like if you are a parent who is struggling with a troubled teen, or if you were someone who was really troubled in your teen years and then in college years, and you haven't really paused to tune into how those patterns have shaped you now as an adult, down to your physical and emotional health, your spiritual health, your marriage, your relationships, I want to share some pieces of information that I think are really important to tune into, and it involves your brain. It has also helped me prepare for motherhood. I know that as my baby grows and they go into childhood and become teens, they're going to make a lot of poor decisions, and I'm likely going to cause harm in their life. Because I'm not a perfect human, and neither are you. And that's kind of the point of being a Christian. If you could do this all by yourself, if you were perfect, if you're a perfect parent and never caused harm in your life, you wouldn't need the gospel. But here's the thing, you're not, and your parents weren't, and their parents weren't. And because of that, your brain and your body, your mental health has been shaped, and your physical health has been shaped. And so here's a piece of information I think would be really helpful for you to know. And it involves your amygdala. Your amygdala in your brain is about the shape of an almond, and it starts forming when you're in your mother's womb. And what it does is it helps you survive to threat in the world. And you have these survival instincts that begin in the womb and your mother's external environment and things that are going on in her life. And if she's dealing with a lot of chronic stress, those types of things are influencing your shape and imprinting your body in the womb. Your amygdala is responsible for your survival instincts. So like when you see a baby come out of the womb and they startle really easily, their amygdala is online, and that is a natural instinct that they have been born with for survival. There's other instincts that they have been born with as well. As you grow into adulthood, your amygdala continues to form and be shaped, and you develop patterns of protection. Your amygdala influences your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses. And if you're not familiar with those, I have a ton of resources on them if you want to dive in. But here's the other thing. You have another structure in your brain called the hippocampus. And your hippocampus gives your amygdala context, and it helps you develop appropriate responses for situations. For example, if you are walking down the street and you see a stick and you jump because you thought it was a snake, your amygdala is sending all these hormones and messages telling your body to fight or flee, but your hippocampus is like, no girl, calm down, it's actually a stick. And so your body calms down and it regulates. In childhood trauma, your hippocampus shrinks. And so when you have a teen who has been through significant stress and trauma, and they are also very troubled and making terrible decisions, part of understanding and having compassion for them and then eventually giving them coping skills is understanding the way their brain is functioning. They're having problems emotionally processing and making decisions that make sense because they are functioning from survival. This does not excuse behavior. Okay, it just helps you have a deeper understanding and compassion and empathy. Because sometimes, especially as Christians, we jump to, you're sinful, you're depraved, you need Jesus. And yes, that is true. We do need Jesus. We are sinful. But at the same time, God has designed our bodies with a way of protecting ourselves. And because we live in a broken and fallen world, there are things that influence that pattern of survival and cause us to make certain decisions that make sense given the context. Having that understanding is so foundational because it enables you to develop coping skills to make better decisions and to help yourself out of patterns that have helped you survive. Repentance is essential, and it is such a gift, and grace is such a gift. However, when we skip our physical body and what is going on with our physiology, we miss out on so many opportunities for behavioral change change, for improving our physical health and our mental health, and being formed more and more like Jesus. Here's an amazing thing. So your hippocampus that can be shrunk can actually grow and become optimal with certain tools, and it can change your responses. This is a God-given gift that is so incredible, and Romans 12:1-2 talks about how we are not to be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we can literally renew our neural pathways, which has a downstream effect on the way that we live our lives, the decisions that we make, who we grow up to be. But it starts by getting radically honest about things that have happened to us and that shape us, and having compassion and curiosity, and then taking action.